I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and but just barely inside the park on the east side at the bottom of the mountain. That's US Route 211. That's heading up the mountain. That way it goes to Sperryville. And this is the Buck Hollow trailhead. I'm going to start here and cross over the Thornton River and then turn right and start heading up the mountain looking for some old historic homesteads if I can find them. The elevation here is 1,100 feet. Tenth of a mile into my hike, and getting ready to cross the Thornton River here. Look at one rock, looks kind of frozen and icy, but we'll see. Here's where I came from. My car's back that way in US 211, and we got to get across here, and then we're gonna head off to the right, looking for some of these old homesteads. Six-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation is 1110. It's pretty flat here. I came from back that way. I've been following the Thornton River upstream. I had a hard time getting across because there was a lot of big rocks there, but they were covered with ice. So I had to wander around until I found a tree blown down across it, and I did a balancing act to get across the river. I'm within about 400 or 500 feet of my waypoint number 4. I'll show that on the map. But this looks like I might have found the driveway, or road or driveway right here. See, there's the right-hand side. Over here's the left-hand side. And this is heading up in the right direction. So I'm going to follow this up and see if it takes me to the old homestead location. Well, look at this. The road took me right to this. I'm gonna go around the other side. This is within about 300 feet of the location, but that was on an old map. So this is probably it. Let me get up here. This is my TR4 waypoint. Let me go around the other side here and see what it looks like. Okay, well, I'm looking at it from the other side now, kind of looking into the sun here. Sorry about that, but this is looking more like a fence, like stacked stone fencing at the edge of a road. And you can see where they armored up the side of it right there. And then it looks like the road goes over this way which would take you out to 211. That's Route 211, modern day 211 over there. So I may investigate that just a little bit. Then I'm gonna head over to the exact coordinates that were on the old map and see if I see anything. Oh, I see a rusted out bucket right over there. I'll get a still picture of that. Okay, now I'm about 200 feet away from the point on the old map, and here's another pile of rocks. Now that's stacked up in a line, and then then there's a corner, and then there's some more over here. I'm not quite sure what this is, but I'll mark it. And then over there through the trees is another big stone pile. So I'll get a few stills of this one. Okay, here's another big old pile of rocks. The first pile is over there. The road with the stone walls over there. The first pile of rocks with the 90-degree wall on it's right there. And then over here is another pile of rocks. Eight-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 1140, very flat. That's where I came from, and I'm standing on the spot where the old map indicated there was a homestead. I'll take a look when I get home, but I think back there where I found like the road or the driveway with the stone and the two different rock piles, I got a feeling that was it back there. I think I see a piece of rusted out tin over there. I'll check that out. And modern day 234 is there. Maybe you can see a car in here in a minute. I don't know if you could see that or not. Anyway, I don't really see anything else here. I will say this land right here, so you've got 211, Route 211, and then there's the Thornton River right next to it, and then there's this flat zone, and then right behind me though, the mountain starts getting pretty steep, so there's probably a house here somewhere. I'm thinking it's back there where those rock piles were, back there. So I'll point it out when I do the map talk. Okay, well back there's the flat zone where my TR4 waypoint was with the stone piles. And I pushed my way over here next to this big old hill because looking at the map, I need to go around this hill and then follow the Thornton River on the other side of this. And this looks easier than all that overgrown stuff over there, so I'm going to follow this. Now, climbing up over this big hill a little bit. That's where I came from. Now that I'm on the high ground, look. Over there's US 211. Here comes a car. Man, the generals were not kidding when they said take the high ground. Look at this, you can see everything. Down there's the Thornton River. and I got to follow it around this way. Let's go. I'm not sure which branch of the Thornton River this is. I might have to cross this. I'm not going to unless I have to, though. I'm out of breath. 1.3 miles into my hike. I'm up to 1,300 feet now. I got another about 2/10 of a mile to go. So over that hill and maybe one more. The headwaters of the Thornton River way down there. I couldn't follow the bank anymore because it was too steep right along in through here. So I had to climb up here. That's where I came from that way. You can see it's pretty steep here. So next thing I'm looking for is the old driveway. We should come in from the right. We're not quite there yet though. .6 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1380. I'm within 200 feet of the location where the Bauer house was supposed to be. TR1 on my map. Here's a rock pile here. I'll mark this, and right here's another pile of rocks. But I mean, that's nothing compared to the size of that, what the place used to be. I'm going to walk down here a little ways to see if I can find anything else. Let me just do a 360 for you so you can see it's extremely overgrown right here. I mean, it's rough. So I mean, I can't push my way through a whole ton of this stuff. But there are two rock piles here. I know US 211's over that way because I can hear it. And I'm gonna look around down here just a little ways and see what else I can find. Behind me is like a feeder stream, maybe 100 yards behind me. So I don't think it's back that way. But let me look this way and see if I see anything else. .6 miles into my hike. The elevation is 1370, and I finally found it. Boy, this is big. This is a big pile of rocks here, and there's part of an intact wall right there. I'll do my best to get some still shots, but the sun is really low in the sky. Coming up over that mountain over there. Here's some more of it. I'm standing in it. So let me see if I can let me see if I can do a 360 here. This is really precarious. Okay, the Thornton River's right down there, so back there had to be the backyard, I guess, because there's no, otherwise there'd be no front yard. And then there's part of an intact wall. And then I'm standing in what would have been the middle of it. It's just rubble. And then there's part of an intact wall over there. And a little bit of a corner over here. and then back down to the Thornton River. So now there was supposed to be a spring house. Now that I found this, maybe I can find the spring house. But let me get some still pictures of this and adjust my GPS coordinates a little. The old map was only off about, I don't know, 200 feet. So that's pretty accurate for an old map. This is one side of the house. I'm looking to the north, and then I'm noticing over here on the west side, maybe you can see the grading of a road that went by there. See that right there? That was a road that came by here just on the west side. That might be the road that goes back out to the school. I'll have to check that out here shortly. There's a corner of the dwelling. It looks to me like the stone was dry stacked. I don't really see any mortar or anything in there, so that just looks like dry stacked stone wall to me. Okay, there's the big house. There's the Thornton River looking to the north. And look at this, right next door is another smaller place with stone walls. And it's still got some metal roof that hadn't totally rusted away in there. So we're going to have more pictures on this side. Look at the roof. See it right there? I'm getting ready to leave this area. I think I'm standing in the road or the driveway. There's the left side. Over here's the right side. And it heads on down here and eventually crosses over, or used to cross, Thornton River. And then up that way are those two stone structures up there, just 50 yards. I think I'm going to start heading back because I'd like to find an easier way to get back than the way I came. I'm seriously considering bushwhacking over to US 211 and just following that back down. I don't know, we'll see. Let me go down here, and I got to get across one way or the other. Well, I was getting ready to leave. The river's behind me, and I see some tall stonework over there. I'll go over there, but look at this. It's going to be a little bumpy. Excuse me a second while I step over some stuff and push some stuff out of the way and get eaten up by prickly plants. So wow, that's some wall there. I'm going to go back over here at the beginning and see what these stone pillars are. Okay, well, at the edge of that fence, I think this might have been the spring house, because when I coming over here, I stepped through some squishy, rocky areas. I got a feeling that there's a spring down there if you dig down a foot or two. Right behind here, there's water. And part of the wall still standing right there. Back up a little bit. So, hole in the ground there, and it was described as being stone, and there's the top of that long wall heading on down that way. Maybe you can see that wall there, looking at it from up here in the yard, I guess. I'll get some still shots of this too. This is nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a spring house, because I mean, over there I see swampy areas. So this was the hole in the ground, and it looks to me by the stonework that that's where it drained out over there. So I guess the water came up here through a spring and filled this thing up. And then it drained to a certain depth and then drained out here. And then that's a straight shot down that way, sloping down into the Thornton River. So and then right there is the beginning of that great big long fence I showed you. So you got the spring house here. You got, and the drainage is there. The Thornton River's down there. Beginning of that big wall, and it goes around kind of in an arc, and then the two big houses were over that way. So I got GPS coordinates for all of it now. .2 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1270. I'm coming back on the opposite side of the river. That real steep side over there is the side I went upstream on. I found the old road. It's right here. Maybe you can see it right here. So I'm following that, and I think I'm pretty beat now after all this bushwhacking. So I think what I'm gonna do, this is the way I'm going. I think I'm gonna follow this until it takes me as close as I can get to US 211. And then I think I'm just gonna get on 211. It's a downhill slope back down to my car. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a mile once I get over to the road. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Thornton Gap, 1994, and I was looking for some old homesteads along what is now US Route 211, heading up the side of the mountain from Sperryville. Sperryville's down this way, and this is heading up the mountain. Right here is the park boundary coming into the park, and as soon as you come into the park, start looking to the left. There's a little pull-off parking area right here at the Buck Hollow trailhead. This is the Buck Hollow Trail right here, and you can park right there on the south side of US Route 211. Now, it's a fairly busy parking spot right there, so if you plan on hiking in this area, you need to get there, I'd say, before about 10 o'clock in the morning, or it's going to be full. So I parked there, got on the trail, crossed over the Thornton River, and then made a right turn and basically started bushwhacking. I was following the Thornton River upstream to this spot right here, number 4, my waypoint number 4, and I did find some stone piles there. Then I continued on upstream all the way to here. Now this was what I was really looking for, which was a old historic stone structure called the Bower House, and I had a hard time locating it. It's extremely overgrown here, but I finally did find it, and I got some pictures of what's left. It's mostly little pieces of a stone wall and stone rubble. Now let me just give you a little bit of history about this Bower House. It was built in 1775 by John Skinner as a hunting lodge. Eventually was purchased by the Barbie family. They lived in it for many years, through a couple of generations of Barbies, and they're the ones that gave it the name the Bower. Eventually, the ownership passed to Anina H. Clark in 1926. Then they created the Shenandoah National Park. So the land was taken by eminent domain and was deeded to Shenandoah National Park in 1931. I've got some pictures of it. I believe they were taken before the structure burned. There was a park survey in 1945 that described this place as burned and collapsed. Nothing remains but the foundations and part of one wall. So this is a picture of what it looked like before it burned down. I believe this is in 1944. And then next to it is a smaller structure, and here's a picture of that one. I got this off the Shenandoah National Park records. So anyway, back to the main map here. So I found the Bower House, and then there's a smaller stone house next to it, and then also a third structure, which I believe was the spring house, because that was described as being a stone structure also. Then I crossed the Thornton River here and found this old road and followed it back. Once I got to about here, I decided I was just going to go back by US 211. So I bushwhacked over to US 211, got on that, and followed it on back down to my car. Now this was a pretty short hike, 2.8 miles, and ascent was only 387 feet, so fairly flat. Now let me show you one more map here before I sign off. This is how I found out the locations of this stuff. This is a Stony Man 1929 map. And this shows 211 coming up, and it's right there on this map. So I got the coordinates of this off this 1929 map, and then I mapped those coordinates here on a modern map. And then I used this map when I was bushwhacking. And that was the hike for today.